the machines were leased as well, so it wasn't a case of IBM basically sold the machines to the Nazi regime and said, look, you know, you do with them what you want. It's a case of they actually leased the machines and they made their money from creating new tabulating cards. So it was very much a hand-in-glove relationship, and the relationship extended from 1933 to 1945. So there were over 2,000 machines out from, you know, Auschwitz to, you know, all the other death camps. And it wasn't obviously only Jews, regardless of, you know, the debate of how many people actually died. The fact is, it was an event that we can utilise to our advantage because history is repeating itself. There was also other censuses undertaken, including the cow census, livestock, horse, and the Danes. The next time you meet some Danes, they were the butter hoarders. So Hitler busted them and they had all the butter, but anyway. For the symbology people in the room, not much has changed. There you have the holorith, seeing everything with holorith punch cards, and when you actually look at IBM, it does stand for I-beam as well. So exactly the same game. Now, what is radio frequency ID? The actual dictionary terminology, without getting involved, is basically it's a small radio transponder or a tag. It's read through radio frequency, which can actually be through a portal scanner or through an actual handheld, and it actually stores data. So the RFID chips, and you'd be seeing them nowadays as well. Some of you might not actually identify them, but Tesco is always a good place to start, simply because they've forced their suppliers to use RFID. Is, you know, if you buy clothing, you'll see something that looks like an anti-theft device, but it's not. It's a radio frequency ID. So every time you go to Tesco and they say, do you want the loyalty program, what they're saying to you is, we want to track you. That is what they're saying. Okay, what is RFID? There's some variations of it. It was invented in 1948. Chip is a radio frequency ID device, obviously. The Hitachi Mu chip over there in relation to the ant, and that's how small it is. And it gets even smaller, and there's been some conspiracy theories out there, just that, you know, the RFID dust is actually in vaccines, but that's not true. That's just those are conspiracy theorists, those guys. Now, what is the Chip? The Chip is the only product that is designed to go into a human. It is basically glass encapsulated RFID microchip. It has got a patent number, and it is FDA approved. Initially, when it was first released, it was used for accessing your medical records, which it still is. It can actually be used as a payment device through VeriPay, and also to control access to secure facilities. The history of the product, it started Destron Fearing. If any animal is tagged out there with livestock, it comes from Destron Fearing. The technology was then sold to Hughes Aircraft, that went to the Hughes Identification Devices division, and they worked on the same plan as the Darwin theory of evolution, that if we define an animal as a mammal, then this would of course include humans. So what I need to stress through this is you're always being reduced to livestock in this. This is the game. It's to dehumanize you as a human, as a flesh and blood being. It is to make you either a robot or an animal. Those are the choices, the way it's going. Now, when people go, oh, you know, it's the Chip, it's you know, there's nothing wrong with it. Raytheon manufactures it, the 5th largest defence contractor in the world. So here you have the company that's making the Tomahawk missile is making the Chip, and then IBM's invisible hand seed funding it from 1999. Okay, how do we prove? And there's another symbology one for the symbology guys out there, Chip, that looks like Lord of the Rings, doesn't it? Anyway, IBM financed Chip in 1999. They had a $95 million loan, a credit line, and IBM decided to write off $65 million for a $30 million once-off payment. So you tell me which finance company writes off $65 million. Ridiculous. Also, when the very chip is actually demonstrated, it's demonstrated in the IBM Experience Lab, so that showcases very much a hand-in-glove relationship. And the FDA approval, you basically had Tommy Thompson, who worked for President Bush, which is no surprise. Within 5 months of actually getting the product approved, he was on the VeriChip board of directors. He had cashed in over $80,000 and had acquired over 266,000 shares in VeriChip and Applied Digital Solutions. And that's what we know. So make up your own mind. Now, this family was actually the family that actually birthed the movement, We the People Not Be Chipped. When I saw this, and coming from the IT field, it just sickened me to my guts. When you had, I want to be the first kid to be implanted with a chip, and this was on TV, and then you had these people as though they were saving the world, and then we later found out that they were on the payroll as well. I sat back as an individual and I just went, is this the time when man starts rioting and says enough's enough? And to be honest, what happened is everyone went back to sleep and just bought a bigger plasma TV. And anyway, it got worse. Time for Kids picked up the story, and Time magazine's obviously, a very controlled publication, and they went into market. Derek Jacobs may be the first kid to be chipped. Isn't he cool? Now, what we need to understand is this is being pitched to your children and to your grandchildren. Like, you might not get chipped. It's the next generation that they're aiming for, and within the next 5 to 10 years. So people need to take an invested interest on this on all levels and on all generations. Now, computer prodigy Derek Jacobs died at 18 in a motorcycle accident. And I don't want to trivialise the issue, there was a death involved, but it showcased VeriChip did nothing. VeriChip didn't save the kid. He had a motorcycle accident, the universe is hostile, and the kid died. So for all the parents out there that want to microchip their daughters, to stop them from, being attacked by pedophiles, the chip does not solve the inherent issues that man has. Like, you inherently have good people and you inherently have evil people, and you inherently have bad, not inherently, but some days you have bad luck.